Hi. So the last time we were able to create this very simple website where we were able to set up the backend, the admin site, and we were able to add some data. And now we can show the amount of data in the home page. We also created the home page and able to show the amount of data in the home page. Now we want to add more flesh to the website by adding more views. We want to show the list of authors, the list of blogs, the details of the author, and we want to also be able to show the full blog post. So this is what I'm gonna try to do in this video. And to do this, we are going to use Django's generic class-based view. Basically, we are going to import default view classes from Django and inherit that and use that to build our own views. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the views file, and first I'm going to import from Django.views import generic. So now I can create a class that inherits from that generic view. So I can say class for the first one, maybe blog list view. We'll say generic list view. And for the model of this view, I'll just say model equal to blog. And that's it. And for author, I'll say class author list view. Then same thing, generic dot list view. Good. Then model should be author. Nice. So as we have done this, just format there. As we have done this, then I need to create the URLs that will map to these views. So I'll go to blogs URL and I can add to this. I'll say path. Now what do we use for the URL? I can say blogs. This will be the short URLs that we use. / there, and I would the views dot blog list view dot view. That's it, and we add a name to it. Let's call it blogs. Good. And same thing for authors. In our case, let's call it bloggers, actually, not just authors. Then views dot author list view as view. Then name, let's call it bloggers. So what is happening here, just to explain, is that this will be the path to that URL, and this is the short name for the URL. And basically now we have created URLs for our list views. Now what we now need to do is to add templates for these views. So before we have this index templates, very simple templates. Close this for a while. If we have to have a template for authors list and the blog list, we would have to copy this also. I mean, this head, and create a new file and do that same thing. But that is not really efficient. There is a way we can actually create a base generic template, and then all the other templates that uses this head, this beginning part or the main author parts, will just extend from this from the base generic template. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to create a base generic .html. Good. So I'm going to copy over what we have here. Actually, I'm going to cut and put here. Then I'm going to have to change these other parts here. So now I'm going to copy over and paste here. Yeah, this is the normal head that we had before. Now I've added a sidebar. So we want to have a sidebar, and so we can add this class called sidebar in this division. And in the sidebar, we add 3 links: one to home, one to blogs, and one to all blogs, and one to all bloggers. Here can be a little confusing. I just put index for now because I have not created one of the links in the blog list template, so we can leave this for now. We're going to change it later, but this is just to make sure that everything runs successfully. And once we created the other templates, we will change this back to the name of those templates. Now that we have this in our base generic, we can now create an index that uses this base generic. I'm going to copy that over here, and so this is what happens. We extend the base generic, and the block title, same thing. Then the block content, we want to change the content. So where is the block content? Block content, start and end. So this will be like a placeholder for the content. Then inside the content here, this is where we add the template specific code. So in this case, we just want to write the same thing that we had before, but now inside the contents block. And so this should now work as expected. cd into blog site, then python manage, then run server to our blog. Now it's updated. Now we see that this link works. Now because this is matched to index, it doesn't go to anywhere, all blogs, all bloggers. But this is to show you an update on our home page. Now let's make a details view. To make a details view, we are going to use the same method that we used before. So we're going to say class blog detail view. So generic dot detail. The same thing, model is blog, and same thing for bloggers. So class author detail view, generic dot detail view, and model is author. Don't mind there's a aircraft going by. I hope it's not too noisy. Now finally, next thing we do is to add the URLs. For this, there is just one basic difference between the list view and the detail view. So the list view is just one page, but for detail view, each of the blog posts will have its own specific URL. And that is why we had this in the models, and that's why we have the function, the get absolute URL, and like that also for the blog. So we're going to use that to create a URL, but we cannot use this normal path, so we have to import repath. Repath is based on regular expressions matching strings. It's not a definite string, and it can change based on what the blog is. So in this case, we're just gonna match with a string and the specific ID of the blog. So we're gonna say repath here. So raw, we want to match blogs. And we also want to match a specific number string. So how to do that? For this specific string, the variable will be pk. So we're using pk and the plus. So this will be our matched string. Then views blog detail view dot as view name equal blog detail detail. So the same thing for, I think I should just copy this. The same thing for our authors. So we just say bloggers in this case. Basically, this stands for the string pattern that we want to match. Blogs, in this case, the string pattern should start with blogs and with the variable pk that holds a particular ID. And the same thing here. I think I'm just gonna copy that. So blogger detail, it's done. Now we have to create templates for the blog detail and the author detail. So to do that, where do we have a template here? Because we're using generic class from Django, so Django expects us to put this in a subfolder inside the template. So in here, I'm going to create a subfolder and call it blog. Then inside the blog, this is where I'm going to create author list.html. I'm going to create blog list.html. I'm going to create author detail.html, then blog detail. Okay, so with that done, now we can add into our blog list and blog and author list. And basically how we did for our homepage where we inherited. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do the same thing for the author list and the blog list. First, let's do for blog list. Now I've copied over for blog list. Let me just explain what is happening here. Same thing that we had before. We extend from base generic. Next, we insert the template specific code into the content tag. So here we have the heading 1, all blogs. And what it's saying here is that if we have a blog list, if there is a data in the blog list, then this is a for loop for this case, for a for loop tag, then it will loop through each item in the blog list and give a title and make the title a link into the detail, and also print out the description and end it. Else, if there is nothing in the list, then it says there is no blog post in this blog. So we can use the same idea also for author list. Basically the same thing for author list. Check whether there is an author list and create a link with the name of the author. And if there is no author, you say there are no bloggers in this blog. Next, for the detail, so we extend and we print out the blog title, the blog author, and the post date. This is just a tag. This is just a different formatting for the post date. And for the author detail, copy over here, we print out the name and the bio of the author. And this should work now. Let's see. All right, so I need to change back. I need to change back the link. So I'll say blogs here and bloggers. Okay, so let's refresh that and boom, we have it. Then for bloggers, there's a blogger. For now, we cannot check inside what is happening. Okay, this is not working, so I need to go back here. I think the URLs, I think this should be hyphen, not, and just a naming issue here, author detail. And let's go back, refresh. still not working. Yeah, so I realized that the problem is in my models, the way I define my the get absolute URL. It's actually get absolute URL, not get absolute URLs. So I'm going to change that back. And then it's also a problem here. It's a mistake. I'm sorry. We have self.name. This should not be self.name. It should be title. And also self.description. Okay. Now that we have that, let's go back to the website and see if there is any change. Yeah, okay, this works. Good. So go back. Now that we have created the details view, this is the detail view. We have a list view and a detail view. What next? Let me check that. So as you can see, we have created a detailed view for our blogs. And now we have a working blog where we can add a lot of blog posts, and we can add a lot of bloggers. In this case, very nice person. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can restrict some pages of the blog in order to allow only users to access. For example, we only want authenticated users to see the full blog. So I'm going to show you how you can do this in the next video. If you like this video, please, I want you to give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to this channel. I plan to add more videos like this in the future, and share it with your friends if you think they will also need it. Thank you, and see you in the next one.